You are about to witness history in the making.
Hi guys, it's time for another Pop Culture Gamers podcast. I'm Steve, your host for this evening. And as usual, Haydn, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing okay now, thanks, Steve.
Good, because we haven't been speaking for a few weeks, have we?
No, we haven't, and not because we've fallen out or anything, just the way that life has been.
Yeah, it's a lot's happened over the last couple of weeks for both of us.
Yeah.
So, well, it is sometimes. At least it gives us time with a lot to talk about to squeeze in the time we're going to use as well. So,
yeah, definitely.
So we move swiftly on then. So a couple of weeks ago, I went to the O2 Academy in London to see John Carpenter live, and he was performing his soundtracks from the anthology album spanning his early careers from roughly 77 to 98, which included such movies as The Thing, Escape from New York. Fantastic evening, and really obviously to top it off, which I did mention once before, is that I had meet and greet tickets, so I had a brief chat, photographs, personal albums got signed. Really
How
cool.
long did you have with him?
A few minutes, because obviously the way I just briefly on how this all worked. So we had these tickets where we go in there first, and we're in there at 5:00. And I must have counted about 100 of us that were in the auditorium, all queuing up, sitting down in the stalls, and then they're going to bring in 20 at a time. So you can imagine getting that 100 odd through does take a bit of time, and then obviously you got to take into consideration them getting ready. And we did all that, and then we were hanging downstairs in the auditorium area where the merchandise was for a bit as well. So I picked up a few bits and pieces in there before we was allowed to go onto the ground level there, where we stood at the front, which is brilliant. Do you know what? It's one of those things ticked off my bucket list, I can tell you that. Yeah,
definitely a great thing to be able to go to.
Yeah, and if he ever does it again in another year, I would definitely go again. He's 70 years of age, bless him. So he was standing up for about 2 hours. There was a brief interlude in one part of it, and he came back out. But he's out there performing on the keyboards, do you know what I mean? Doing a bit of a granddad dance occasionally, which was quite funny. And it was great to see what he did do, which I'll talk about in the movie later. They added a track from the new Halloween soundtrack. Mm-hmm. So they were because what you see is while they're playing the tunes, there's a big screen in the background showing you clips from the films. Mm-hmm. So when they played a track from the new Halloween movie, they had some clips from the film. No spoilers really, because it was 2 days before I was actually going to go and see it, because it actually hadn't been released at the time. But it was bits I'd seen on trailers, so it doesn't really spoil it.
Right.
But yeah, that was really cool. And then what he did from that was he blended that into the original Halloween. It was really cool. It's really weird because it's been a bit of a star-studded bit for me this last couple of weeks. Because what I did was I put a tweet out to his sons as well, who collaborated with him on the show and obviously with the album. And I got a DM back from Daniel Davis, who is his godson.
Right.
And he said, "Can I have a picture? Can I have that picture you put on Twitter, please? A high-res version. Have you got it?" And I texted him, but yeah, no problem. I'll tell you what. Here's my SoundCloud. Take all the pictures you want. So I put them all in a folder, gave him a link to it so he could take what he wants, really, which he quite appreciated. Mm-hmm. With being at the front, the camera on my phone was taking some real good shots. So that was cool. And then a side note to him, he's got his own album out at the moment called Event Score. Mm-hmm. And really good sort of synth instrumental music. I picked that up, and that is brilliant. I did actually text him back later the other day, which he replied to, telling him what a good album he's done.
Yeah.
For that. So that was that one done and dusted. And then last week, I went to see Black Eyed Peas. And, God, that was cold standing out there at Hammersmith at night, I tell you. Freezing our bits off we were. But another great live show. The bass, as you can imagine with that sort of show, the bass reverberated right through my bones to my body completely.
Yeah, I bet you could feel your inner organs shaking.
Oh, it was, honestly, I thought I'd come out like a cocktail if I walked out of there. Again, it's really weird. I took some great photographs being at the front there. And later the next day, I posted some on Instagram. And the guys followed me back and reused one of my pictures on their Instagram post and credited me for the shot. So maybe I should take up photography.
Maybe.
You never know, eh? So that was pretty cool. And I did have a chat with one of them because he was wearing this sort of, it looked like an Indian necklace. And it was a big circle with an N7 on it. And it was, the N7 looked like, EA's Mass Effect.
Yeah.
So I did actually send him a message on Instagram. He did reply as well. And he said, no, it's to do with a new range of products we're doing with trainers and bits and pieces like that. So, yeah, it's nice to reply, to be honest. But, they got time for people out there to chat to them, whether it's Twitter and Facebook. So, yeah. What else? Oh, yeah, I had an email from a record company / album. And they wanted my thoughts on their new project. So I did a questionnaire. They sent me some information about this new project, which I'm on an NDA. So once that's lifted, I can chat about it. But that was interesting.
Oh, right. Okay.
Totally out of the blue.
So was that to your pop culture email or your normal one?
That was to my my normal one.
Oh, right, okay.
I nearly missed it because I didn't even recognise the woman that sent it. And then once I read the email, I thought, oh, okay. So I had to sign an NDA, send it back to them, and then they sent me the details. We'll see whether any more information comes back to carry on with that. I don't know. But
so was it just asking your opinion about music, or was it?
No, it's about
asking you to listen to it.
No, not at all. It's about a new project.
Right.
So it's not about the music. It's about a new project that they're going to be having next year.
Okay. So
yeah, I know it's a bit cloak and dagger. So the next one is as well. Even though you might be able to work it out. My wife's sister's daughter popped over the other day.
Yeah.
And she said that I do owe you a few bits and pieces for me helping her out over the time. And she said about me getting an autograph because I'm a big fan of a certain streaming show on Netflix. I said, what do you want about? She said, well, she's a friend with the actress because she went to the same school here in Bournemouth. I said, God knows why she's never mentioned it before, but I'm assuming...
Is this Tahani?
No, it's not.
Oh, right.
And she said, the only reason I can guess is that because she's moved out to the States, but she's brief. She popped over recently because she was with her then, but she couldn't take photographs of her or even post anything because she wasn't allowed to.
Right.
And I'm not going to give her name away because she's a child star. So that's why I'm keeping it on the coy side.
Okay.
But I'm hoping because that they may pop over, which would be really cool. I can't say more than that, but the biggest Netflix show of the last couple of seasons, mate, honestly.
Is it one we'll both be watching?
Oh yeah. And the rest of the world took it by storm, but that's all I'm going to say. I can't say much more than that. But she's 14 years of age, and and she's popping back over the country for some bits and pieces to deal with personally.
I honestly can't think of who on earth that is.
Well, we'll leave it at that anyway, and you can pester me later on private chat.
Oh, I'll beat it out of you.
Anyway, how was your couple of weeks been?
I've had a lousy couple of weeks, thank you very much.
Yeah, because you've been a bit... I've been calling you a bit of a hermit.
Well, I have been a bit of a hermit because I've been ill, which is why we didn't record the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
To be honest, because I was starting to feel under the weather a couple of weeks ago and was completely sort of like snotted up, bunged up and whatever. And we didn't record that night, went to work the next couple of days and then was off for a few days sick, which is really good when you start a new job, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that does go down well, doesn't it?
Oh, yes, perfectly well. So I was a bit gutted that I was off, actually, because I missed a couple of things I really wanted to attend. But I had tonsillitis, but also mixed in with a bit of cold or probably more serious, it was probably proper man flu, to be quite honest. But no, I was absolutely lousy. So I spent most of my time resting. And when I wasn't resting, I was playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
You were, weren't you? Yeah, quite a lot.
Yeah, quite a lot. I'll talk about it later on and I'll mention about how many hours I have done in it.
Yeah.
So that was that. And if you remember, another thing is for weeks, I've been having an IT problem, haven't I?
Yes, we're thinking it was your keyboard that was giving your PC a shutdown?
It was my keyboard that was doing it.
Have you sent it back yet? And had you chance to send it back?
No, I haven't had a chance. But basically, a few months ago, I bought a Corsair K55 RGB keyboard.
You was really raving about this, weren't you?
I was, yeah, because it's a fantastic keyboard physically. You know, it's got that real nice sort of, you know, clicky kind of keys. I don't think it is actually micro switches. I think it is still membrane, if I remember rightly. Don't quote me on that, though. But it is a nice quality one, and, you know, it's got the RGB lighting, which you can, you know, change or, you know, have pulses and all that sort of stuff. So it's just that real nerdy kind of stuff that I like.
Yeah, of course.
And it's fantastic. But in order for the function keys, not, you know, the F keys, but the additional function keys to operate, you had to load their software, which is called IQ. And what that does is it also controls it controls the lighting and whatever in your keyboard, and also your mouse and, you know, anything else that you've got that is compatible with IQ. Now, everything was going okay, and then just suddenly, every now and again, for no reason whatsoever, the screen would just go blank.
Yeah.
Completely blank. Like, a bit like the monitors had, you know, gone on to power down mode, but they wouldn't come back. But the computer was still kept running for a while. And, you know, there'd been times when we'd been talking for about 5 minutes after the screens had gone off. And Audacity was still recording and whatever. Unfortunately, Audacity has a recovery system built into it.
Yeah.
So I was a bit perplexed at what was going on, because it didn't happen immediately after the keyboard was installed, and my son had been installing some extra software. So to be fair, I'm going to apologise to Adam.
Well, you were blaming him for playing one of his games at one point, weren't you?
I was, because it always seemed to happen when one of his games was running, which was like a web-based sort of game. So I didn't know if they were doing something, you know, that a bit illicit, because I always worried about, you know, some of these sites that kids end up going on, and about, you know, what is the security around them or whatever. So I stopped him playing that, and then it still continued to do it. So then we stopped a different thing. And it was just a process, a real slow process of ironing this out, because it didn't happen all the time and every time and as soon as that keyboard was plugged in, which is the other key factor. So eventually I thought, this only happened after, you know, a week or so after I'd bought the keyboard. Is there anything to do with the keyboard? So I did a search. If I'd have done the search straight off, I could have saved myself weeks and weeks of heartache. To be honest, because it was then all over the place that the IQ software supplied by Corsair, because it's a Corsair, you know, they had a Corsair keyboard. The IQ software actually has compatibility issues with certain i7 processors. Not all, just certain models. And unfortunately, I had one of those models. And I was trying everything. I was trying, you know, Windows key control Shift B to reset the graphics drivers and stuff like that. Nothing worked. I tried looking at the error logs, but it wasn't generating error logs. So there was nothing to read. So it was really, really frustrating.
Yeah.
But eventually I've ironed it down to this software. And so what I've had to do is I've now scrapped the Corsair keyboard. That's not attached to my PC. Neither is the Corsair mouse that I had. but instead I've got a Logitech 203 keyboard and a G502 mouse. And both are great. You know, I mean, it is membrane, the keyboard, but it's very... Do you know what I mean? It's a nice typey sort of sound.
A nice annoying sound from my end just then.
Well, I have to keep you going, don't I? But
I don't want to nod off. I know that. Go on, Karen.
Yeah, it's a nice sort of sound. Oh, I'm boring you. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. So keep going.
But that's not the end of my upgrading curve.
It's not, is it? No,
it's not, because I now have an NVIDIA 1080 graphics card in my PC. So if I want to, I've now got a 7K display.
So is that a new? Was that just basically new guts, but you kept your main base?
I just swapped out the 970 I had for a 1080.
Okay.
So it's just literally lift one component out, put another one in.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, that's all right.
But really powerful card. Been doing 4K gaming on the PC.
Yeah, it'd be cool, isn't it?
It is, but because I've got it plugged into my TV, which is next to my 3 screens. Because obviously, I've got 3 1K screens, as it were.
Yeah.
So, and I can have 4 going now. And I'll tell you one thing, doing a spreadsheet on a 43-inch screen, fantastic.
Well, if you've got that sort of stuff to do in it, and you're in there a lot, then why not? I mean,
yeah.
I don't, at the moment, due to the capabilities of what I have, is not needed. Well, I've just got a small screen and that's it. That's all it's for. This room's more for me TV and sound and vinyl and stuff. But yeah, why not? Yeah, I saw the picture you put on there. It's pretty cool.
It is. I'm quite impressed with the card, to be quite honest. And it's quite silent as well. I've not really noticed any increase in volume at all.
Have you got nothing there to block where it's actually working, so it doesn't get sort of chugged up with dust and dirt?
Oh no, I've got fans blowing stuff in, fans blowing stuff out.
Yeah.
I've got going into the PSU. There's a filter on it which I can take off and clean as I want, and also the front of the case needs a bit of a hoover at the moment because it's got a membrane in front of that to protect it.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a dusty machine at all. Chucks it all out. I've been thinking about actually putting fans on the top of the case, to be honest.
What about getting some water cooling on that as well, maybe? And
I have water cooling on it.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, the processor is water cooled.
Nice. Anything else?
Yeah. No, that's it.
I've not really mentioned what games I've been playing, even though probably just for today it's going to be one game that we're going to be talking about from my point of view.
Yeah.
And even I'll save it for another time, but I have been playing Forza Horizon as well.
You've been streaming Forza Horizon.
Yeah, there was reasons for that, but I'll leave that for another show because we won't get time today.
Okay.
But yeah, and basically this is going to be my Red Dead chat for today. I think main part of it. And anyway, should we move on?
Okay, let's move on.
Let's have the gaming news.
No longer a dream, but a reality.
Okay. Do you want to start with the first one?
Okay, I'll start with the first one. So, PC exclusive, this one. So I understand.
Exclusive.
Destiny 2 is free on the PC. To help celebrate the anniversary of Destiny's PC launch, Bungie are giving away the game for free, which you can claim as long as you have a Blizzard Battle.net account. And you've got until the 18th of November to claim that. It is only the basic vanilla Destiny, but it's worth claiming if you have a Battle.net account because you can still play the main campaign. So if you've got, for example, Black Ops that's on there now, you could just go on and claim that, from the from the boot up screen or whatever, or just get Hearthstone on your PC and claim it so that you've got it for later on.
Mm. Yeah, interesting.
But I think that's really quite good.
Yeah. Why not? I mean, they're trying to sort of push Forsaken at the moment, which rightly so, because it's a fantastic game now, and the stuff that's been going on recently with the Halloween sort of bits that have been going at the moment, which finishes actually next week. So that will come to an end, but it's just they're chucking free stuff. People that actually, one thing they have done, they've changed how you can buy it as well.
Yeah.
So, for example, on Xbox and PlayStation, where you had issues on if you only had one certain part of the expansion, you didn't have the other, but you had to pay for the whole lot. Do you remember?
Yeah.
They've broken that down now, so you don't have to.
Well, if you buy the Forsaken, then you just get everything from year one anyway, don't you?
Yeah, but what it is if you bought what it is originally, Forsaken was going to include the past DLC from the last part. Mm. So they've split it up. So if people have got one part, they don't pay for it again, if you know what I mean. They've sort of tweaked the pricing. Right. And also, people that have been playing it from day one,
yeah,
I can't remember the date too, they're going to chuck some little extra bits and pieces as well, shaders, and all sorts of bits and pieces that we're going to get that as well. Us that played the game, Haydn.
I do play the game. I play it on 3 formats, Steve. How many formats do you play it on?
I play it on 1. I don't want to play it on 2. I'm concentrating on 1, and that's the way it is. Simple as that.
I might just play it on my Uber PC now.
Yeah, well, why not? Okay, so next bit of news. Xbox Game Pass is coming to PC. Now, this is probably a bit of a weird one, because at first you would probably think it's already there. Because
it is to some extent for the Microsoft titles that are play anywhere.
Exactly. But now they're going to expand that to give you the full subscription to your PC.
Yeah.
Pretty bold move, and I think again they're pushing everything forward. I think Microsoft are going in the right direction with this.
I do, but they're going into stiff competition against Steam, because let's face it, Steam is the primary PC platform.
Oh yeah, but there's people that may have a PC but don't really use it, maybe with Xbox.
Yeah.
That their priority is the console. But then some of these other games that maybe aren't so big on, the systems to play them on, because there'd be such a smaller bandwidth for the, just to play the game on your PC, depending. They're probably going to be easier for them to just play that on there as well. And whether or not I don't think you get double achievements, but what you certainly be able to do is have your cross-save across the platform to play it on PC, then carry on playing it on the Xbox.
Yes.
So
that's already there for things like the Players Anywheres.
Yeah, but obviously that's going to expand to the full subscription as well. So
it is.
Because I noticed they've actually thrown back on it now, because they had digital rights issues with a certain game which has just suddenly flown out of my brain. That was a few years old now. Oh God, what was it? The one about
Alan Wake.
Thank you, yeah, Alan Wake. So do you remember they said that they had to take it off the box, didn't they? Especially with those that own it, you've got to make sure you download it. Well, they've got the rights back now, so it's now back available, and I think it's thrown on Game Pass as well. So definitely,
and a heck of a game that is as well.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I still want to see a proper sequel to that.
I think that because the American Nightmare was okay, but it was a budget game.
Oh God, yeah. But it's good. Do you want to go to the next one?
Yes,
because I'm already there. I've pre-ordered it, as in how you can do it. So
okay, so Blizzard were boo-booed on the stage at BlizzCon. So basically, at BlizzCon, Blizzard announced that their new Diablo game, which is a game that's set between 2 and 3, so I understand, is going to be released, but it's going to be released on mobile platforms. So, after 6 years that Blizzard has been doing Diablo 3?
I think the booing is more that they want to see a fourth game.
Well, they did give the impression that they were going to announce a fourth game, and instead, what they've done is that they've announced a mobile game, and evidently it's a skinned copy of a game that's already available in the Asian market.
Interesting. I did go on
And it
to the
doesn't get
link.
very good reviews either.
No, I did. I did get the link, and I did pre-order on my Android.
Right. And what's the pricing like?
It's free as far as I'm aware.
Is it in-game purchases?
Probably, but I mean, I pre-ordered it as in to download it, and they did come back to me and say that they will choose a few people to test it out a bit early as well. So it might just be worth having a quick look. I mean, it's, I do prefer playing on the Xbox, but a new Diablo would be pretty awesome.
But if you watch the video, what was really interesting was the guy who announced it. He was actually taken aback when people booed. It's like they clearly have not done the research this time.
God, but they must know by now the amount of people that have been after a new Diablo game for PC and console. It's just...
Yeah, exactly. And that to me shows that him and his team are clearly not in touch with the main market, which, let's face it, the main market for Diablo is PC,
Absolutely.
followed by consoles. And most of those people don't want a mobile version of it, because why would you want a mobile version of the game when you can have the full-blown PC version or the full-blown console version?
Well, it's like now that, obviously, it's now coming out on the Switch at £50 for Diablo 3, so they're certainly milking it. They will get a lot of criticism, and it'll keep coming, I think, until they actually turn it around.
I agree, and I think that this is one of the problems with Blizzard, is that they do milk stuff beyond what they should. And I have to admit, I'm with the people who have booed on this, because I don't want to play a game on my phone. I don't like the on-screen controls. It might work for certain types of strategy games, but not for, an action game like Diablo would be.
Yeah.
And also, I don't want to have to carry around a controller that have to sync to my phone in order to be able to play it, or to my tablet. So I think that they've really, really messed up. I don't think that they're quite... there's a lot of people who will have gone to that because they gave the announcement that they were going to be announcing something about Diablo. And a lot of people who are really, really much more heavily invested than me in that as a franchise will have got really excited, maybe even have gone all the way to BlizzCon, to end up finding out that it's a mobile game. I would feel pretty hacked off if I was them.
Yeah.
There's nothing the matter with mobile games. It's just that's not what they want to be announcing. It's like if they turn around and said, we're going to do an announcement for StarCraft, and then turn around and say, well, here it is, it's a mobile game. I'd be annoyed at that as well, because it's about, it's 10 years for StarCraft, about time that they had a new StarCraft game on the table.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, no, I think that Blizzard need to do a bit of recovery, which is unusual because they've always been such a good company normally.
Yeah, I know. It's
Anyway.
Okay, any other news? I've got one more.
Go on, then.
So, if you remember rightly, I've pre-ordered the PlayStation Classic.
Yeah.
And they've just released the 20 games that are coming out on it.
Yeah.
So I'll give you the list as they are, and let me know what you think. So we've got Battle Arena Shinde, Core Borders 2, Destruction Derby, Final Fantasy 7, Grand Theft Auto, Intelligent Cube, Jumping Flash, Metal Gear Solid, Mr. Driller, Oddworld's Abe's Odyssey, Rayman, Resident Evil Director's Cut, Revelations Persona, Ridge Racer Type 4, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Siphon Filter, Tekken 3, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, Twisted Metal, and Wild Arms.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's not bad.
Well, there's 11 good games on there.
Yeah. And some I'd love to just have a visit, chill out with for a little bit.
No Wipeout.
No, well, They did release a new version on the PlayStation 4, didn't they?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter, though, does it?
Because no, it's the same as saying, where's Crash Bandicoot? Or where's Crash Team Racing, maybe?
I don't think it is on the PlayStation 1. I think that one of the core games on the PlayStation 1 was Wipeout. Everybody had that. It's a bit like turning around and saying, here is a Nintendo Mini, SNES Mini, but there is no Mario. It's exactly the same. There should be Wipeout on there.
Yeah, well, that's the list. I mean, whether or not they'll do a PlayStation 2 at some point, seeing how well this takes off.
Possibly.
There would be a chance. But yeah, I thought I'd just put that list in. I completely forgot about it. I saw it the other day. So there you go. Okay. Should we go to new releases?
Yep. Are you going to do them?
Yep, why not? Okay, so the first set are on the 6th of the 11th. So we've got Carnival Games on the Switch. We've got Minecraft Story Mode Season 2 on the Switch. Grip Combat Racing, that's all on all formats. Omen of Sorrow, that's PS4. And this lot are from the 9th to the 11th. We've got 1111 Memories Retold, PlayStation 4 and Xbox. Downwide Spiral and Horror Station, PS4 and PSVR. Moonlighter, PlayStation 4 Switch. NBA 2K Playgrounds 2 on the Switch. And Overkill's The Walking Dead, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
I have to admit, Overkill's The Walking Dead looks quite cool.
I've not heard about that one yet. I've not.
Yeah, I've only seen one trailer for it, but it looks good.
Oh, okay. Really, now we're going to get a bit of a slowdown, aren't we, on the old games?
Until February.
Yeah,
or January.
Until January.
That's all right, because I think the only game that I've really got left that I want to buy now is Just Cause 4.
Yeah, I haven't touched Tomb Raider yet, which I don't need to yet. I can probably pick it up in a bit of a sale maybe later.
I have to admit, I've got Tomb Raider sat there and I need to get on with it.
But there's only one game you can play at once.
Yeah.
So, anyway, charts.
So, at number 5, down from number 3, we have Assassin's Creed Odyssey. At number 4, up from number 5 last time, we have Forza Horizon 4. At number 3, down from 2, is FIFA 19. At number 2, down from the number 1 slot, is Call of Duty Black Ops 4. And everybody knows thoroughly well that number 1 is Kirby's Epic Yarn. Not really. It's Red Dead Redemption 2. Who would never have guessed that wasn't going to be number 1?
I don't think so. Not in a million years.
Yeah, but just from some very unknown company called Rockstar.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
That
was sarcasm, by the way, everybody, just in case anybody does write in and say, have you ever heard of Rockstar?
Yeah, no, that's it. And just briefly, I didn't get to put it on the news, but we can put it in now, is that Red Dead Redemption 2 sales were revealed. Yeah. And 725 million in 3 days.
That's a few.
It's insane, isn't it?
It is.
And that is second just behind Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
So, I think...
By the way, guess what I've been playing on my PC?
Go on.
GTA 5.
I thought you could try and say Red Dead then and upset a few people. But, yeah, that's good. Yeah, okay. Right, let's move on to Games for Gold and PSN. So,
yeah, well, seeing as you're the PlayStation fanboy, you should be doing the PlayStation.
Well, okay, well, we'll go into that later. We will go into all that. I've been getting a lot of grief over that, and I'm gonna stand firm. But
and so you should.
Yes, and I've been. Oh, we'll talk about that later. Anyway, you can do Xbox. Would you like to?
Yeah, I'll do Xbox then. Okay, so on Xbox One, from the 1st to the 30th of November, we have Battlefield 1, which is a corker of a game. And from the 16th of November to the 15th of December, we have Race the Sun, which is a decidedly average game. Also, Victor Vran is still available until the 15th. 360-wise, we have for the first couple of weeks of the month up until the 15th, Assassin's Creed, the original one, which is a great game if you've never played it. And from the 16th to the 30th, another really cracking game, Dante's Inferno, very sort of God of War-ish kind of game, well worth playing.
Not bad, actually.
No.
Yeah,
Apart from Race the Sun.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, PlayStation. So we have, for the PS4, we have Bulletstorm, the full clip edition.
Good game.
Yukaza Kiwami, Burly Man at Sea, which is also on Vita, and Roundabout, which is also on Vita.
Yep.
PS3 titles, we've got Jackbox Party Pack 2 and Aikido series.
Yep.
PS Vita also, we have, I've already just said that, Burly Man at Sea and Roundabout. Twitch Prime for November, while we're at it. Overcooked, The Pillars of Earth, Overlord, and AER Memories. So I definitely would pick up Yakuza, but I must admit I've got my I think it's going to run out next week. I've got my PSNs running out, so I need to sort that out.
Yeah, and you need to play Bulletstorm as well. It's a Bethesda game.
It is, that's correct.
It's a Bethesda game I've completed.
And is that the only one you've completed?
No, it's not.
Anyway, should we move on swiftly without us blatantly having a go at each other at Bethesda? Because we've not even mentioned Fallout 76, and that'd be for another day.
Yeah, I'm not going to fall out with you over Bethesda, Steve.
Actually, I've just had an email with some extra codes for the beta, but then again, I don't think anyone's going to be wanting to play that right now. But anyway, let's move on to gaming this week. Okay, mine's blank. Did you see that?
I did, because you've only been playing one game and it's the same one as I put in first.
Excuse me.
And I didn't bother putting any notes in on that because I thought Steve would be writing up everything to do with that.
I don't need to write notes. I've been playing that solidly all weekend. And I have got my app, and I've also got the companion alongside me on my phone, so I'm well versed in what I need to talk about.
So what's the app?
They have an app. Well, do you want to do your other stuff first, and we'll bring in Redemption 2 after?
No, I'll do Redemption now, and then I'll do the other stuff, because that's what everybody really wants to listen to. Okay,
so if you go iOS or Android, there is a companion app which you can use. And obviously you can sync it to your console of choice.
Mm-hmm.
For example, what you could do is, you got your HUD with the on the bottom left-hand corner with the circle with the map.
Yeah.
You can take that off and just use it on your phone.
That's quite cool.
Yeah, it can also bring up the map. You can actually use your finger on your phone to put your waypoints in as well, and it will just immediately appear on your PlayStation or Xbox. Mm-hmm. So it's quite a little few tips and pieces you can do with that. But if we start from the beginning, so for those that don't remember, there was a Red Redemption 1, and
yes,
I completed that game. Did you?
No, I just couldn't get on with it, to be honest.
Okay, so this one here is set in 1899, and it follows the story of outlaw Arthur Morgan, a member of the Van der Linde gang, and which also has a young John Marston, who was in Red Redemption 1. Hence, this is a prequel rather than a sequel. And we'll probably type a few... I'm wondering if it will type a few bits of the story from the beginning of Red Dead 1 to this one here, maybe, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
So, pretty interesting. The game's had a bit of flack in places, especially with the start of the game being so slow. And personally, I quite like the pacing. Now, I don't know how far you've got Haydn with this.
Done chapter 1.
So you've just done the first chapter.
Yeah.
How did you find the pacing of the game for you?
Could have been a bit faster, to be fair. It was a little bit slow. I understand why they were doing it the speed that they were, but there is a lot to take in about the world.
That and the controls.
Yeah, controls are a bit
clanky, do you think?
Yeah, they needed to, I think, get a bit more user tested on the controls.
Yeah. But to be honest, from where I am now in the game, I find it so fluent. So it's I think it's more of a learning curve, to be honest. I mean, I've seen numerous people, as much as myself, accidentally punching your horse when you wanted to do something else. And get an animal cruelty to your own horse instead of doing what you should do. You know, so there's that sort of scenario there, which maybe could have been tweaked, but I've got used to that now.
Yeah.
It's like any game, isn't it? But if you ever go away from this game and come back after a couple of months because you're playing someone else, I think you'll need a little tutorial to get yourself back into it. But
yeah.
Let's get the elephant out of the room then. Why did I go for PlayStation 4?
Yeah.
Now, the only reason is one of my good friends, Glenn, he's got a PlayStation 4. We played the first game online together and had a lot of good laughs with it. So I've gone down that route more for the online side. But to be honest, I haven't seen any. It'd be nice if you could send me some screenshots over from your TV.
Yeah.
To give me a bit of an idea. But I've upped. When you start the game off, there is a little HDR tutorial there to tweak it to what you need.
Yeah.
And I did up the lightness level. They recommended LCD at 100 and OLED at 300. But I've actually put mine up to about 240 now. And to be honest, that game looks gorgeous, even on my TV.
Well, it's supposed to have fake HDR, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I did that post I put on the Facebook page wasn't having a slag at anybody. That was just what I just suddenly found.
Yeah. So
I put it on there as people to have a little look. But yeah, it still looks gorgeous.
It does.
And whatever you're playing it on, and I'm not. At some point, I may well double dip, but I don't need to at the moment. I'm enjoying the story, enjoying the experiences I'm getting on this game, which is like no other game.
Yeah.
And obviously you'll go more into that as you progress through the chapters. And it's just the world is really a living, breathing world.
It is.
And I've had incidences where I'm just riding my horse, and there's a robbery going on. So you go and join in or try and get upset to help out whoever, and it's not there again once you die. Or it's just so random, some of the things you see. And I'm trying to be good in this game. I don't know about yourself, or you just want to be an outlaw, but that does bite you on the bum a bit, because I even had this woman asking for help. She was stuck, and she went to try and hold me up. So I shot her in the face. Sorry. And you've got to be careful about doing this, because if someone sees you, they will report you, and the bounty will be on your head, unless you go and chase them down and shoot them.
Yep.
But I've had a link of up to about 3 different people seeing what was going on and having to go and chase them down and shoot them.
So did you, the opening story?
Yeah. Where
you find the guy in the barn?
Seems such a long time ago, but carry on.
Did you kill him or let him go?
I let him go.
Yeah, so did I.
But I've had instances now where I've had the opportunity to let someone go or kill them, and depending on what they're up to and what they're doing, I've made that decision personal.
Right.
Once you get out of that snowy area, which you just say is really slow paced, the game will open up more with the camp that you will have there at that point of the game.
Yeah.
And you can then explore as much and as you want. And I mean, I was looking on Rockstar Social, which I've set up a new group for us. And if you go through the companion telling you how many animals there are, how many herbs, everything, it's just unbelievable. And this game is going to last you. Oh, I can't even imagine how long it's going to last.
Isn't there about 550 different entries in the encyclopedia thing that's there?
Possibly. Probably, yeah. I know, just looking at animals the other day, because this afternoon I found just by chance, I come across a dead animal, and I inspected it, and it was from a cougar.
Right.
And it was the legendary cougar. So I tracked it down, and I think it's quite clever that you can put both thumbsticks down. That would bring it into like a Assassin's Creed Eagle Vision. And you can follow the trail for so long, and then find something else, go back into it, see the direction it's going in, and kill the animal. I mean, the bear, obviously, I'm not even sure where the bear is. No, you haven't even done the bear yet, have you? The grizzly. Have you gone that far yet? You've only just got out of the...
Yeah, I've literally just got to my camp.
Yeah, so I don't want to spoil it too much, but that was an interesting sort of scenario with the bear, with the grizzly. And, there's other things there where people are a bit upset that there's not a lot of fast travel. So there will be at one point in the game when you will open a map on your home where your camp is, and you'll be able to fast travel to actually certain places.
Yeah, I've heard that the best thing to do when you first start is get $50, get a train ticket, and go to all of the stations.
Yeah, that could open it up. But actually, when there's a certain part of the game when you upgrade the camp, you'll open up fast travel, and you'll be able to go to, say, for example, Valentine, but you'd have to then ride back. So, and he works one way. I mean, unless you want to use a stagecoach to a certain point as well. But to be honest, I love just being on my horse. I really do enjoy that experience. I come across something the other day. It was thanks again for pointing me in the direction. But I was under a bridge on the part of the railway line, and there was a body hanging there with the head missing, and the head was just to one side, pinned against a wooden awning on the side. And I took the stake that held that head on there, and out of that come a map, part of 4. So there's obviously some sort of serial killer type thing to look into, and there's probably going to be some more of those across the map.
Well, if Rockstar do anything like they've been doing with GTA 5, there's going to be loads of free content, isn't there?
Oh God, yeah. And I know there's a money glitch, and I'm not using it, but I've been coming across areas where there's been gold bars.
Yes.
Now, if you Google this on YouTube, you can do what you want to make as much money as you want, but I can't see the point, to be honest. I mean, finding the bars is fine because they're in the game, but doing the glitch just to keep picking one up to, give you all this money, I think it's going to spoil it a bit. Don't know what you think about that. Yeah,
no, I would agree. You don't want to be glitching stuff. You want to play the game the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but there is money to fight. There's gold bars, there's gold nuggets, and other bits and pieces that will add up to increase your bank balance for upgrading the camp as much as holding on what you've got. And as much as then you've got poker to play, you've got dominoes, you've got bounties. I mean, and I loved going around doing a bit with the arrow, doing a bit of killing some animals and skinning them alive with an arrow and getting all that done as well. It's never ending. And it's just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I can't praise Rockstar enough at this game. And anyone out there that maybe might like it from the beginning, just give it a chance and get through that first part. Because I think they're missing out on one of the games of the year, to be honest. Yeah,
I mean, the hunting's really involved as well, isn't it? Because you've got to consider things like about being downstream downwind from animals and that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah, it's literally, I mean, you joke about a simulation, but it is. I mean, obviously, some people weren't happy with the idea that when you ransack a place, you have to open the drawer. Then you have to take the stuff out and you can close the drawer back.
Yeah.
I've not got a problem with that. When you're looting people, you can walk over and pick stuff up. But then if you want to just check anything else, hit triangle or whatever and actually ransack them completely and move on. But it's funny, I've been trying to do that while I've had a big battle going on in a town in the story. Sometimes you don't get the chance to do that. It's because you do want to keep finding money, but there are some parts of the game where you're going to get rewards which will help your bank balance anyway. I've just come to the end of chapter 2.
Right.
So I've just opened up chapter 3 and I've just gone on a bit of a hunt, to be honest. I've not even started the storylines in that because I just want to, it's some other bits I want to have a look at. I had a big massive bounty on my head as well, which I cleared because I like to make sure I can run around the town without being shot at. But I don't know, have you come across you won't have come across any weird experiences yet either, have you? Because you've only just come out. Yeah,
no, nothing weird as of yet.
There was a guy there putting a new shoe in his horse, and he was struggling, and the horse backfired him and kicked him and threw him took him off miles away and sort of killed him. I just looted him and ran on. It was unreal.
I'll tell you one thing I have noticed though, is just how much the horses poo.
Well, that is going to be depending on how much you feed them.
No, this is on chapter 1 where you're not feeding them.
Oh, okay. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe
I'm not kidding you. It was sort of like takes me back to, Jurassic Park and that clip.
I do like the idea about this is a bit of like now, as much as I hate survival games to a certain degree, I don't mind it in this. As much as you've got to eat and drink, and you can overeat to be a fat Arthur Morgan.
Yeah.
And if you don't wash enough, people start telling you smell, and ask you to go and have a wash. So what I do for that point of view is I go to a hotel every now and then, take a room for the night, and have a bath in a hotel.
Yeah.
And even for cutting your hair as well, because your hair grows.
And your beard.
Yeah. Oh, I try to give it the sort of Tombstone Kurt Russell look.
All right. Okay. With the curly moustache.
Yeah. So what I did was I actually shaved his head quite short in the barbers, but now it's all starting to grow back now. And I just want to let it just grow all ragged like, and then I get him to have a bit of weight on him. He'd be sort of like a Grizzly Adams at some point, if you know what I mean.
Right. Okay.
But it's just so much. There's so much that interlinks with how those characters will work and run and sleep, and even I came across now with your legendary furs, you can't just sell them anywhere. You got to go to a trapper, and I hadn't opened up. Got the trapper on my map, but I did come across where his main base is.
Yeah.
So when you go to him, you can hand over the grizzly fur, for example.
He's in one of the cities, isn't he?
No, he's not.
Town.
He's outside. No, this guy is in the middle of a forest off a road, and you can spot him. But he's got loads of different outfits for you to, when you've got all the right sort of furs and everything else. There's some really cool outfits he's got as well.
Yeah, because my understanding is that one of the things that you do, if you want to, if you like, you're holding somewhere up or whatever, is you go in with one outfit on and your beard, and then you run off, get changed, get a shave, and then you don't get a wanted level. Yeah,
but what you can do is I've noticed, same way that Grand Theft Auto 5 would work is, if someone's investigating a shooting that you've done, if you could scamper pretty quickly, that level will go down to nothing. You'll see where it says murder in red, that will soon go to grey, and it'll start move all the way over as soon as you run out of the way. And obviously another way is he's wearing your mask, bandana over your face, so you don't recognise you. And what I do is, when I've got a hefty bounty on myself, and I go to a post office to pay it off, I put me bandana on just till I get there, and then once I'm by the building, take it off. Otherwise, he won't serve you. Same way a bank won't serve anyone with a helmet on.
Yeah,
he just asks you to take it off. So there's all this intricacy here that is just going on, and I'm still finding more stuff that I've just come across, which is unreal. I like the idea of the camp scenario. That works pretty well. That means you can get a chance to get your health back up with the cooking of the food, and sleep as well. Obviously, you've got to eat more to get your dead eye up, and obviously your stamina and stuff like that. Oh, it's just never ending. I mean, I'm not going to go too on now. I mean, I'm going to save some more experiences for next week. But it's a fantastic game. Whether you're on either console, it's just superb. Loving every minute of it.
And hopefully the PC version will be out at some point as well.
Well, at the moment they've said no to that, but I'm sure once it's certain enough, because they're obviously going to be working on extra bits and pieces for this at the moment, and the online is coming in sometime in November, which I'm looking forward to. Should be really good. So, okay, should we chat about Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, well, like you've been completely bombarding yourself with Red Dead, I've been ploughing my way through Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
And have you finished it?
I have finished the main story.
Well done for that. That's a mean feat in itself.
I did. I finished it after 99 hours.
Was it a frustrating 99 hours though?
It wasn't. There was a point, probably around about the 30 or 40 hour mark, where the combat was a little bit difficult and ended up dying quite a bit. And the story dipped a little bit. I was a bit, can I be bothered? And then actually it started lifting itself up. You know, I started unlocking I mean, talk about being a bit thick, really, but I was trying spreading my skills over the 3 different domains.
Yeah.
And then and I missed out some crucial ones, like, for example, removing shields from bad guys and whatever, you know, your enemies.
Of course, yeah.
So when Alan, you know, pointed out the fact you do know that you can actually reset all that, which
yeah,
I hadn't realised because I hadn't looked at the bottom of the screen. Duh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm sure we mentioned it in a little chat at some point.
No, we did. That was
maybe.
when I realised that, you know, when I mentioned
okay.
it. But, you know, it's like, sort of like, duh. After that was when it all changed for me because I was getting close to giving up on the game. And then what I did was, I thought, how am I playing this game? And I thought, I'm not that bothered about stealth. I'm quite enjoying the getting in there and, you know, ruffling up a few feathers sort of thing. But I still wanted to keep a bit of stealth, and the archery sort of bit was kind of important as well, but I was only sticking to one sort of type of archery. So I thought, right, okay, let's redistribute all of these. So first off, what I would say, anybody who's going to play this game, you really want to get the shield buster option in terms of your skills as soon as you can. Because what that allows you to do is rip the shields off the arms of the people who have them. So it means that they can't block as well your attacks. Really, really need it, especially for when you start doing the big battles that you're doing for, you know, the Spartans or whoever. You definitely need that ability then. The other ability that you need is the ability to heal. And those 2 are the 2 most important things. After that, everything else, it just depends upon how you play. There are some really good weapons, not weapons, arrows that you can get later on in the game where once you've unlocked the skills for it, that you can shoot an arrow through any physical substance. So if you've had your eagle identify the fact that there's a enemy there and they've got to run around a corner, it doesn't matter whether it's a stone wall or whatever, you can see their outline and you can shoot the arrow at them as well and still get them as if that wall wasn't there. That's really quite useful.
Is that a little bit like I mean, considering this game's tried to be a bit realistic to a certain degree, is that like a bit over the top?
Yeah, well, it's not realistic because, you know, an arrow would never go through a 6-foot stone wall.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a cheat mode, isn't it?
No, it's not a cheat mode. It's just one of the mechanics of the game. Probably best not to study it too much, because otherwise you then start picking out the fact of, well, how come your eagle can actually tell you where all the bad guys are and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be too worried about that, but I did a build, and I ended up the build that I managed to get to was much more directed at combat. Plus the fact a lot of the equipment that you get has perks on it, so it'll give you like plus 15% on the Spartan kick or whatever. But if you're not using the Spartan kick, which you also have to use up one of like your charging attacks to use that, then it's a waste of time being there. So what you need to do is kind of make sure that as you're leveling up your equipment, that you're actually getting the equipment that is right for the style that you're playing as well. So it's not just the fact that you're a level 24 and you've won level 24 armor. You need the right level 24 armor, because sometimes level 23 armor can actually be better for you than level 24 or level 22 armor even. And if you've got legendary armor, that could be 4 or 5 levels before it actually is, you know, not as good as even the most basic, you know, armor higher up. Yeah. So don't just think because it's a higher, you know, level that it's immediately better, because it's not.
No.
But there's so much depth in this game. There are so many missions, to the point of it is actually quite overwhelming at times how many missions there are.
Yeah. Well, isn't that Assassin's Creed all over, though, to be
It
honest?
is, but none of this is chasing feathers. Okay, this is proper. There's none of that, collectibles per se in this. It's all mission orientated stuff. So there's absolutely loads to do. There are also 4 mythic creatures in the world as well, which you have to do certain missions to be able to unlock them. And when you unlock them, then you can take them on. So, for example, there's a Minotaur. Now, that was a tough battle because you have to go into a labyrinth, find your way through the labyrinth, and then confront this great big Minotaur in the game who has, superpowers and stuff like that. There's also a Sphinx in there, which you can either choose not to battle, but to answer the riddles, or you can battle it. I did the riddles and I actually won that. There is Medusa that you can go up against.
Yeah, I remember that from Chasing the Argonauts.
Clash of the Titans.
Oh, was it Clash of the Titans?
Was,
I get confused. Yeah, okay.
And there's also a Minotaur, a Cyclops, which was from Jason and the Argonauts. Yeah.
No, was the Cyclops Sinbad and the other tiger? Or was that one with the horn, wasn't it? I get confused.
I can't remember. I'm sure it was Jason and the Argonauts was a Cyclops. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But
it's an overhill.
But there are loads of different types of missions. I mean, there's a story about your family and about what is obviously the pre-runner to the Templars, because this is like 400 BC. So there's a pre-runner to the Templars. You're a pre-runner to the Assassins, and you do things like there's still all of the synchronization points, just like normal Assassin's Creed, but there are also, like, for example, forts that you've got to invade, and then there'll be higher level officers in there, and you can choose to do the whole mission via stealth if you want to. And I've taken down a few forts by just doing stealth. It's time consuming and quite difficult to do, but I have done it. Personally, what I tend to do is go around the outside, get all of the guards that are going to cause me problems, like the archers and stuff like that. Make sure I've sabotaged the warning fire that they have on each one of these bases, and then just gone straight in for the kill on the other ones. Trying to be as stealthy as I can, but if I was discovered, it wouldn't be the end. The other thing as well is you also get mercenaries come along. So the mercenaries will come and they will, basically be a lot harder to beat. You're a mercenary in yourself, or a mystios as they call it. And there are about 9 or 10 levels of mercenaries.
Yeah, I've come across a few of those in my playthrough so far.
Now, here's an interesting thing. What you can do is they're all, normal, rare, legendary and epic. Yeah, there's the same old sort of colour scheme on them, and if you choose an epic one, you can fight him right up until the last little slither, and then just before that, then all that you do is you fight him with your fists rather than with weapons. That'll knock him out, and you can then recruit him to be a member of your crew on your boat, and he'll give you much better perks for doing stuff on your ship for the naval battles. And if you get 4 of them, you get the Argonauts achievement as well.
Oh, good achievement. Oh, class.
So, and I've got that achievement as well. But that was nice something that took me a while to realise that, how to get them. Because you equip your weapons, a short range and a long range weapon. So, for example, now I've got Poseidon's trident. Now, Poseidon's trident allows me to stay underwater ad infinitum. So, I can now dive as deep as I want, as long as I want, and I'll never drown. But if I didn't have Poseidon's trident, then I wouldn't be able to do that. There is a slow counter for for your air. But there are also loads of shipwrecks for you to dive down on and things like that. And there are certain artifacts in the world, like weapons or whatever that you have to discover that'll give you certain powers like that. But, there's like epic bows, and there's no silly Destiny thing of you can only have one epic item on at one time. You can have a complete epic outfit.
Set. Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool. Anything else you want to say about that? Have you got anything else? There's another game that you want to talk about.
Yeah, I do, but I'll tell you what, anybody who's not played it or gave it up to go to Red Dead, go back to it because it's well worth it. Especially, plough through. The story's really good. And there's still 2 stories in there that I've yet to complete, and are just now releasing the new DLC for it, or the first part of it. First part's free.
Yeah. Wasn't there there was a free story, wasn't there? They would, as well, wasn't there?
But then there's 2 other story DLCs as well. Before the release of Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, if you've got the Season Pass, and Liberation Remastered.
Oh, cool.
So the other game that I've got to talk about is Rise of Insanity, and this is a game I think you will like. So it was a VR game, and it's now been ported over to the Xbox, but obviously without the VR. It's from the studio Red Limb Studios, and it's a psychological horror game. Basically, it tells a story of about a Dr. Stephen Dowell, and the whole story is set between 2 locations. It's your house and a mental hospital, and you're trying to find out what's happened to your family.
Yeah.
And the game, basically, it takes inspiration from a number of different horror movie sort of tropes. Very creepy, very eerie and enjoyable, with the very predictable sort of jump scares. But, I think this is one that you'll like. And it was only about £4 or something like that on the store recently. So, definitely worth a look.
Oh, sweet. What about... So that was on the PlayStation as well, was it?
I don't know if it's on the PlayStation as well, but it's definitely on the Xbox, and I know it's on the PC, I think.
Okay.
But there is a VR version of it as well, so it might be on the PlayStation VR, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, sweet.
I think you'll enjoy it a lot, though.
Yeah, I've got to find time to play other games somehow.
Yes, now that you're a PlayStation fanboy.
Oh, God, people are giving me grief. Leave me alone. Anyway, shall we, let's move on to movies, TV and streaming?
Yep.
In quest of a better life.
Okay, we've got one bit of news. Do you want to talk about that? Because, as I say, you originally were organising this, but both what's going on at the moment, we can't make it. So.
Yeah. So, basically, Comic Con Scotland. That is next weekend for those of you who are fancying going around in Scotland. And it's basically, for the love of the 80s. And it's got a fantastic, absolutely fantastic lineup of 80s stars. You've got the Hoff with Kit. There is going to be Face from the A-Team and also from Battlestar Galactica. You've got the Buck Rogers from Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, Gil Gerard. There's also Sam Jones, the Flash Gordon, not the Flash, Flash Gordon, from the 70s movie. Ray Parker Jr. is going to be there. So who you going to call? Obviously Ray Parker Jr. if you're at this. There's going to be a lot more of the cast from the original Battlestar Galactica. If you remember Street Hawk, there's going to be Street Hawk's Rex Smith, sort of like the motorbike version of Knight Rider. There's going to be Zach Galligan from Gremlins, Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters as well, Sylvester McCoy and Sophie Aldred from Doctor Who, so, that Doctor. There's going to be cast from E.T. and also the one who really would love to meet, Louis Ferrigno, is going to be there, the Hulk from the 70s TV series. So I was going to go. I have been given press passes. As a matter of fact, I've actually been asked if I want to go to a private meet and greet with the stars the night before, and have photo opportunities and stuff like that with them.
But
I can't go because my wife's having a medical procedure on the Friday, and I'm gonna just be needing to be around to support her. So it was supposed to be happening next week. Sorry, not next week. The week after. But the hospital's changed the appointment time and have brought it forward a week, which, when does that ever happen? But of course it happens this time, doesn't it, out of all of the times
Of course it does.
So, unless she makes, a really good improvement, I'm not going to be able to go. But there's going to be other attractions there, like, I understand, the DeLorean from Back to the Future and everything, so I think it's going to be pretty fantastic. I'm really...
Yeah, there's a few of those scattered around the country over the coming year.
Yeah, I'm really gutted. I'm not going to be able to go, I don't think. Really gutted, because I've been so looking forward to going to this, because let's face it, for you and me, this is like the mecca of sort of places to go, isn't it, really?
Oh, God, as much as I was geeking out at John Carpenter, because the missus was saying, I've never seen you so enthusiastic, and you were chatting to everybody, so that's what we're like. We're the same.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's
but this is even more so.
Yeah, and then we're going to have this Star Trek destination next year, hopefully.
Yeah, we're going to definitely get there this time, aren't we?
Because tickets are out already for that, believe it or not. And then I would want to go to the DC, the Heroes fans one as well, which is to do with all DC and stuff like that. But
I need to pick up on that again, because I stopped watching it for some reason. I can't even remember why.
Well, we'll have a little chat about that in a minute.
Have you been watching it?
Get to that point. I have been watching The Flash briefly, and so.
But anyway, Comic-Con Scotland. So it's next weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and it is at Edinburgh's International Conference Centre. So please go along and have a look. If you go, let us know what it was like. We'd be really interested to know.
Photos.
Yeah, take photos. Tweet them, or put them on Facebook page for us to be able to see. Because I'd love to be able to go, but I don't think I'm going to get to be able to because of my wife. Yeah. How she is. So okay.
So let's get on to Blu-rays and DVDs.
Yep. Cinema releases first off.
Yeah, do you want to go do that?
Okay, so cinema releases. 2nd of November is The Nutcracker and the Four Realms, Juliet Naked and Peterloo. On the 6th of November we have Windows, and on the 7th of November we have Windows Crashing. No, we don't really. We have Overlord.
Which I'm interested in.
What is it? I've not come across this one.
Oh, haven't you?
No, seriously.
Okay,
I've
briefly,
been living a life of a hermit,
Okay, so this is a J.J. Abrams movie.
Oh, is it a zombie one?
So you got it's set during the World War. They go in there to investigate something. They're doing their bit in the World War, but they find these people that have been tested on.
Oh, it's a sort of like Wolfenstein kind of thing, isn't it?
Well, it's not really. I know we are coming with that, but they've just come across some testings that's been going on in this place. But
isn't that the story of Wolfenstein?
Yeah, check the trailer. It's insane. Absolutely,
I'll
insane.
have a look. I might actually. I've been talking to my mate about going to see a film, saying, "Oh, there's nothing really on," but I think that this is probably one that we'll probably both go and see.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. There's a couple of movies out coming up now soon. I'd like to go and see. All right, so I'll run through briefly the highlights for Blu-ray DVD. So something we picked out. We've got Batman, the complete animated series. Yep. Nice little box set there. We've got Children of Men.
That's a good movie. That's a very good movie.
So Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah.
That's out tomorrow.
Yeah, all of these are out tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow?
Yeah.
So Marvel Studios Cinematic Universe Part 3, Phase 3, Part 1.
Blu-ray and DVD.
Okay. Quatermaster Pit, for us old guys that know some of the old classic sci-fi there.
Classic sci-fi, that one.
Yeah. Superman the movie 4K release. And something else I even though I've got some digital of this, Time Tunnel, the complete series on Blu-ray. Yeah. And also you can have the DVD version as well if you want to go on the cheaper version. We've got the Twilight Saga Complete Collection 10th Anniversary Edition.
10 years, can you believe it? God,
yeah. And just having a quick scan through of non-highlighted ones there. I can't see anything that's popping out.
Family Guy season 18.
Yeah, if that's your thing.
And one for Nikki, Digimon.
Oh, God, yeah. Okay, anyway. Cinema charts.
Cinema charts. We have at number 5 for Johnny English Strikes Again. Number 4, Smallfoot. Number 3, Halloween. Number 2, A Star Is Born. And at number 1, we have Bohemian Rhapsody.
Rightly so.
I really want to see that film.
That is the thing to see on the big screen with a good sound.
Yeah.
I've heard good reports of that. So yeah, really cool. Okay. Charts for the Blu-ray DVD, we have got down at 3 to 5 is Avengers Infinity War. In at 4, we've got Night of the Demon. 2 down at 3, we've got Deadpool 2. In at 2, Ocean's 8. And at number 1, still there, is Solo, A Star Wars Story.
It's good to see actually Solo, A Star Wars Story at number 1 still, because I think a lot of people missed out on what was a good film because of the one before it.
Okay.
Boycotting it.
I'm with you. Yeah, okay.
Also, just thinking about it, I forgot to mention, but evidently Kathleen Kennedy has announced that there is definitely not going to be a Boba Fett movie.
Well, for Boba Fett fans, that'd be disappointing. Maybe, but it's how far are you going to take this? I'm still going to say that.
It was your comment, wasn't it? Because I mentioned this on the Facebook page only to have Steve respond and saying, "Well, it's Star Wars has been done to death." To which my response was to say, after all of the TV series of Star Trek, to say that Star Wars has been done to death is illogical.
Yeah, well, we're not going to debate our thoughts on that and bore the people that are listening to this show, but okay, whatever. Okay, so movies, TVs and streaming this week. So I've seen quite a little bits and pieces. I don't know about yourself.
I've seen a few things.
Cool. So went to see Halloween just before Halloween, so a couple of weeks ago. And if you're not aware of this movie, I'm sure you should be by now.
It's about Halloween.
It's about Halloween. So this is acting as a true sequel to the first Halloween from 1978, where Laurie Strode is a babysitter being attacked by Michael Myers in his Captain Kirk mask. Yep. And what they've done is they've throttled the timeline because there is about 9 or 10 movies on this series. But what they've done is they've taken all that away, say forget that for this, and we're going forward 40 years to seeing Laurie Strode struggling with her life as she has been after the effects of what's happened to her in the original movie. Yeah. And it is a good film. Obviously the score is fantastic. I don't need to say more than that. I like the idea that this film now, from who was hunted to being the hunter, is role reversed. Mm. Even though we see Michael escape from this penitentiary, I can call it penitentiary, this mental asylum. We got a couple of guys, which is great. This is bringing it into the 21st century, if we're going to call it that. We got a couple of guys going to see Michael who are doing a podcast and want to interview him, and it moves on from there. But great film, lots of jump scares, some little quirky moments, even to bring back. I will say it's a role reverse in some of the scenes from Halloween, the original. Mm. Fantastic, loved it every minute of it. And I know it won't be your cup of tea, but it's made a good chunk of money, and I should be on course for a sequel for that. If hopefully Jamie Lee Curtis goes in with it as well, will be nice.
They've set it up for a sequel, have they?
Yeah, because this is no spoiler, because at the end of the credits you hear this breathing, so you got to think Michael may well still be alive. But really good film. The that will be coming out. I think I've seen the release of this is, I think, January next year on DVD Blu-ray.
Cool.
So we'll be getting the 4K version of that for sure. Something else I picked up, and maybe you might not know the full story to this, but I've been listening to Film 89 podcast. And they did a retrospective look at V, the TV show. And I was in Sainsbury's the other night and I saw the whole box set for 15 quid.
That's V, the final chapter, and then V, the TV series as well, isn't it?
So you got the original miniseries, and then you've got the final battle, and you've got the TV show that followed that as well. And for those that don't know, V, the miniseries was aired early 80s, and this became a bit of a hit. It was something that came on TV, and you went to work, everybody was talking about it. It really had a big thumbprint on TV at the time. We didn't have streaming. We didn't have a lot of channels, but this TV show came out of the blue. Let's face
it was a high quality sci-fi show that was on TV, which was very unusual back then.
It was, and I think it aired a year earlier for the Americans. We got it a year later, and therefore then what we got was the miniseries, and then straight after that we had the final battle, so we didn't have a wait, believe it or not, on that. I've just completed the miniseries part of it last night, and I've just started the final battle. And I do agree with the guys, if you ever listen to their podcast, I don't think it holds up really well.
It does, right up until the last bit with Elizabeth.
Which bit you're on about?
The very end. I don't want to mention what it is.
Okay. No. Okay. No, but so yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing Michael Ironside in this as Ham. He's fantastic. In this.
That was my first introduction to Michael Ironside, to be honest.
Oh, was it really? Because earlier on he'd done Scanners.
I was too young to see Scanners, you see, back then.
Yeah.
But so I saw him in this first. So my main thing of him was as him as that, and also Mike Donovan.
Yeah, Beastmaster.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good characters in this. They all gel well together. There's even, because this was roughly the same time when he had his franchise kicked off, was Robert Englund, who plays Freddy in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. And he was one of the aliens as well. But that was, if anyone wants to check it out, go and have a look at this series, and it's well worth a watch.
Englund, isn't it?
England, yeah. And also check out Film 89. You can catch them on Twitter. They do some great podcasts for TV shows and stuff like that. So that was that. Also, I had a couple of my 4Ks delivered last week. So The Fog and They Live, both remastered from John Carpenter.
What's the quality of They Live like? Because I've been thinking about getting it.
Excellent. The Fog, obviously some darker scenes, because it's a remaster of an old film. You do get that little bit of a tint with it, but other than that, it's perfect. I'll do some screenshots for you and put them across. And They Live, I just started to have a quick look at that as well. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And we're going to wait now for end of the month for Escape from New York.
I've got Escape from New York ordered as well.
So looking forward to that. And also I picked up, and this ain't going to be fun for a lot of people, but I am getting into his movies, but Dario Argento's Suspiria has had a 4K remaster. Right. And also at the moment there's a remake of Suspiria that's doing the rounds. I don't think it's a big full release because it's only in certain cinemas, but it's getting a lot of high praise. But I need to catch up with the original one, as I've been meaning to for some time. So it's Italian horror,
right?
So it's got a taste of its own, but I love it. Really good. Last thing is TV. We got all the shows are now coming back. We got the DC shows, the Flash, Arrow. And even actually Legends started last week as well, so there's an episode of that I've got to watch.
I haven't seen
so
that
they're all
yet.
coming
I need
back.
To get that on catch up.
Yeah, well, I think with Sky, for me, I was able to. It knows that I've watched them and recorded them before, so it just tags them on straight away.
It hasn't done that for me for Legends, but it's done it for Supergirl, The Arrow,
and The Flash. Yeah, really weird, isn't it? Big Bang, of course, the last season of that's on now on Channel 4.
I thought you'd already watched that, though.
No, this is the newest season.
All right.
Which is going to be the last season.
I thought you'd watched the last episode. I don't know why.
No, it's not been aired yet.
Right.
We're about 3 episodes in on this season at the moment, roughly. And, it's really good. It's going to come to a point where they're going to, all these little storylines I know they're going to tidy up will finish at the end. The same way that Friends did it.
Okay.
So that will be that. Just waiting for the start of Modern Family. That hasn't kicked off on Sky yet. And one quick thing about Sky, because I haven't done it yet, is obviously Netflix is now on Sky.
Yeah, it's on Sky Q.
Yeah, and I need to sort that one out. Or I need to speak to someone to see how that's going to work. Because at the moment I pay for it individually, but apparently I can add it on, maybe at a cheaper rate.
Nice.
So we'll see about that. But yeah, I've seen all the adverts on my Sky Q box. Anyway, so what about yourself?
Myself, well, I've also been watching V as well. More inspired, I think, because I saw you were watching it, and I had it sat there on the thing, and I thought, do you know what? I haven't watched that for ages. I'll watch a bit of it as well. And I just forgot how much I loved it. Because there are a lot of sort of similarities in terms of the visitors, the aliens that come, with Nazism. Even down, I don't know have you noticed this?
Yeah, because it's very much like the way when Hitler started what he was doing in Germany, and even to the point of fact where they were taking on teenagers to be a part of the Hitler Youth and all this, and obviously from another perspective of the Holocaust, when you've got there's a certain old boy in it, wasn't it? And it's sort of triggering his brain of what he had to put up with. Yeah,
because he keeps referring to it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there is all of that. It's interesting, actually, because the Sci-Fi Channel did a reboot of this, and it was very different. And it had her off, what do you call it? Firefly.
Yeah, she was, yeah.
She was on it.
Now I enjoyed that. I haven't spoken to some other people about it. I need to pick their brains and see what they thought, but I quite enjoyed it.
I did as well.
Maybe,
I think...
But it didn't finish, did it? Because it got cancelled.
Yeah, it got cancelled after, was it one season?
1 or 2 seasons,
there wasn't very much of it. And it was just, I think, opening up at that point as well. And they got rid of Mike Donovan because Mike Donovan suddenly became, a female as a lead. And there was no Michael Ironside sort of substitute character or anything like that, which is a bit of a shame. But also the story was very different in terms of the woman in charge was like the queen, and she was their supreme leader, and she had some sort of psychic power over everyone, which just as it got to the end of the season, they started expanding that to humans as well. So... yeah, it was very different. It was still good, and I think it's such a shame that we never saw any more of those.
If you go back to, and I say the guys in the podcast actually said this they mentioned this, and I totally agree with them. If you have never seen V, but you've lived through maybe the 90s, and you've gone through and seen all these sort of sci-fi movies, you're going to watch this and say, oh my word, Independence Day, all these other movies that they've taken a chunk of V from it.
Yeah, they've copied V.
They have, and I think it just gives it a bit of praise, to be honest.
Definitely.
From that point of view, and great.
Yeah, I think it's very much one of the sort of undersold inspirational programs that ended up, spawning a lot of other shows that did what it did, but maybe did it better, and so V kind of went off into the into the ether, as it were, which is a shame because it was a good show in its own right. Yeah,
who didn't like Diana? Right?
Oh God, I remember her like being the flight of fantasy of a horny teenager sort of thing.
But
Also Elizabeth's mother as well.
Yeah, but I say the lady that played Faye in The Resistance.
Oh yeah,
I had a soft spot for her.
Yeah, she was very much like, further down the list though, wasn't she?
Yeah. But there were some great characters in there, and some older actors and actresses that came into it. But yeah, love it. I might sneak a bit of that on tonight when I get after we finish this and watch a bit more of it.
Yeah, I might do as well actually.
Before I get onto Red Dead Letter.
Or before you watch Doctor Who.
No, I'm 2 behind at the minute.
So you've already watched what, 2?
I think 2 episodes. Yeah. So
yeah, I'm warming to it a bit more.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not. I think that Doctor Who being made female was just done for the political correctness of it all. Still,
yeah. Just a quick note. The remake of V.
Yeah,
it was 2 seasons.
Oh, it was 2 seasons, right?
Yeah,
I couldn't remember whether it was 1 or 2.
Yeah,
but she's doing a good job. I don't think any better or worse than any other. Well, better than Sylvester McCoy, but she's not a bad Doctor Who sort of thing.
No, not at all. Not at all. I think
even Bradley Walsh is starting to grow on us.
Okay.
A bit like fungus.
Well, whatever. I mean,
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's not too bad. You been watching anything else, or should I go on to what I've been?
Yeah, go. Yeah. Just go roll straight in there, mate.
Okay. Well, my son, after years and years of talking to him, saying, "I think you might like Harry Potter." And he's like, "No, not really. That's not my sort of thing." Suddenly has found Harry Potter. So we've gone through the Philosopher's Stone and the Chamber of Secrets so far.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I mean, I used to like these when they were first released. I know that they're primarily kids-based, but they are generally quite entertaining movies. And actually, I have to admit, considering that these films were, the first one was 17 years ago. Can you believe that? 17 years ago.
Yeah.
The effects and everything really stand up, and it still looks really good.
No, I think CGI has been going for such a long time now.
It has, a lot longer than you actually realise. But the effects in it are really good. They are well-written stories. They're obviously of a style. But there's nothing the matter with that either. And to be honest, it was really quite nice seeing everybody on there. I mean, like the original Dumbledore, Richard Harris, who, I know that, he passed on, but it's such a shame that he never actually finished it as Dumbledore. Because to me, when I think of Dumbledore, I think of him first.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got, Maggie Smith, Robbie Coltrane, Richard Griffiths, Warwick Davies, John Hurt, Alan Rickman. I mean, Alan Rickman is, Snape. Zoe Wanamaker. And that's not to mention the main cast of Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson and Rupert Grint as well.
Oh, and there's loads more there as well, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. It's a huge cast.
Well, you're going right through the whole series of movies.
Yeah, well, that's what we're doing now. So
you wonder what he thinks when he sees David Tennant.
I don't think it'd register with him, to be quite honest with you.
No, there you go. Yeah.
And to be honest, I've probably watched the first couple of ones more than I did the later ones. So it's going to actually be. I'm going much more into, forgetting territory. The nearer I get, because I've watched the later ones less.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm actually quite enjoying it myself. I've got to be honest. It's they are entertaining stories. I mean, quite predictable, but who cares? It's just a bit of disengage your brain. If you believe that kids can fly around on broomsticks, then you have to question your own sense of ideas. So it's got to be switch your brain off kind of thing. I've also been watching Charlie Brooker's Black Mirror.
Okay.
Finally got into this after not, after the 4 seasons that there are of this, after not bothering with this for really quite a long time.
Is this on Netflix?
It is on Netflix as well.
Yeah.
And do you know what? It is really good, actually. What it reminds me of, it's very reminiscent of somewhere between The Twilight Zone and Tales of the Unexpected. But with normally a more futuristic sort of point of view. And a bit of looking at how technology will make us deviate and perverse in a lot of sort of ways, which I think is very much sort of like a Charlie Brooker kind of trope, isn't it, really? But yeah, there's some really good stories there. I did enjoy the one that was a bit of a takeoff of Star Trek.
And what was that?
It was one of the seasons where the main character was, and it was the guy from Westworld who was the younger version of the black cowboy. Do you know the one I mean? The one who fell in love with the female android first off.
Yeah.
He's in it as well. So him and the other character, they're running a VR sort of company. But the guy who is the core sort of character, he's like very much browbeaten by his business partner. And what happens is he gets his DNA and recreates him digitally in this VR world that's like cordoned off from everything, and he does it with everybody else that he knows. And then he makes them bend to his will because they're all sort of browbeating him, or he perceives it as that. And he aligns it to like a Star Trek sort of universe. Okay. And it's basically, it's about the consciousness of these people who, you know, he's recreated digitally. So like the digital copies of the original people sort of going mad in this universe. But as soon as he turns up, they have to do as he says, because otherwise he'll turn him into sort of like some sort of horrific alien or whatever. And about them trying to escape from him.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, but, you know, obviously he keeps dipping out because somebody will come to the door, so he has to pause what he's doing and whatever. So it's really, it's quite good fun to watch, to be quite honest. I enjoyed it. It was an interest. It was like a very sort of tongue-in-cheek sort of take-off of Star Trek in it as well. Also, I binge watched through the last season of The Last Man on Earth. So if you're not aware of this, it's about a guy who is the last man on Earth, or so he thinks, until he starts running into one or two other people who have survived some sort of virus which has swept the Earth and killed most of the people and most of the animals. So it's like there's only like 0.1% of the population, or even less than that, who have actually survived. Very, very small numbers. And basically,
I remember seeing a trailer for this back in the day. I'm sure I did at some point.
Yeah, and because the guy who was, you know, Tandy, he's called. He goes mad at the beginning of the season, and he does a Tom Hanks sort of thing about drawing faces on balls and talking to them and stuff like that, until he starts meeting other people. And to be honest, he's a complete idiot, you know, and very attention-seeking. And then, you know, he ends up getting kicked out of the group of people because someone else comes in who sort of like is a bit more alpha dog than him and all of that sort of stuff. And then he gets back into the group and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, this has gone on for several seasons. It's one of those seasons that sort of keeps a core concept but reinvents itself every season as well. So that, you know, they put them in new scenarios based around the wider stable picture of everybody's dead.
Yeah.
So, for example, one season, Tandy's brother is actually an astronaut who has been stuck on the International Space Station all of the time that this virus has killed everybody off. And so, he's going mad up in space. So he comes back down to Earth and he finds his brother. But then he starts to get ill.
Sounds a bit bizarre.
Yeah, well, don't forget the Earth's sort of like infected with this virus and he's been in the space station, but he gets ill. and then he just like goes off, goes back home to die, sort of thing. And there's all sorts of different stories like that, and it ended the last season on a cliffhanger, and it was just, no, there's never going to be any more of this. I was so disappointed.
I'm glad. I hate getting into a show and then finally it gets cancelled. Sometimes it's worth waiting a few seasons to see how well it does.
Yeah, but this has been going on 4 seasons or 5 seasons. So it's one that you think is going to keep going for a little bit longer, and then they've just cancelled it. Because they did that massive culling, didn't they, last year, of what ones they were reviewing or renewing.
True, yeah.
So, yeah, really disappointed on that, but never mind. It's one of them things.
Okie doke. So, we done?
I'm done.
Right, so let's go on to listeners' questions.
John, what's happening to us?
As usual, we'll start with Mark. And his first question: what was the last game you wish you hadn't bought?
Cuphead.
Okay, I'm going to go a little bit further back to the last Mass Effect game.
Really? I thought you played that a bit, though, and quite enjoyed it.
I didn't get nowhere near it, to be honest. I mean, I suppose the other, a bit more of a recent one would have been We Happy Few. But that was only cheap anyway, because that was only the way it worked. So that wasn't too bad. But being that EA, that was a big full game price for that.
Yeah.
And maybe I should go back. Maybe I should actually go back and start it from scratch. Now maybe it's all been fixed a bit,
To be honest, if I was you, I would go back and look at that, to be honest.
Yeah, and Cuphead for you was, okay, I understand that.
Yeah, I don't like games that feel that they have to punish you as a player.
Okay. Number 2? Is
most of your media entertainment still physical, or do you download and stream more?
Well, if we're going to talk media, we're talking entertainment in the whole lot of it. I'm going to say that the bulk of mine is still physical. With especially with movies, that's always going to be a hard copy. Games is debating, and music. Well, my vinyl collection's grown a bit more now, so yeah, I'd say it's very physical indeed. Even though I'm still getting a few digital codes. And what I'm going to, speaking of that, just briefly, what I'm going to do is, I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, because I don't want to just put this code out there because I don't want it wasted. Mm-hmm. But I've got a spare code for a digital copy of the Halloween soundtrack. Because I got 2 copies of it, I'll come up with 2 digital copies. So maybe next week I might think of a little small contest where people can enter it, those that really would like to have a copy. And I'll do that next week, thinking about it. It's actually, I'm staring at it now actually on my PC. But yeah, so are you, what your thoughts on it is just, are you a bit of both still?
I would say I'm pretty much 50-50.
Because your PC is digitally
my
huge.
PC is completely digital. I mean, just on Steam, I've got 1,001 games.
And where your movie side of things is always physical, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, I do have some digital movies, but I don't have very many. In terms of ones that I've solely bought digital, I would say I've probably got about 20 where I've bought them digitally for whatever reason. Yeah. But certainly physical copies of movies is by far where I am. And I'm not into streaming. To be honest, I've had negative things happen, like I had with Sony, with them closing my account and taking away all my movies just because I hadn't logged in for so many months. To which, after I complained to them and threatened them with the Information Commissioner, suddenly, after saying they were not able to resurrect my account, they managed to do so with all of my films.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Okay, we move on to Facebook then.
Yeah.
So Nicky Wilson starts us off with, Games Master and Games TM have ceased production this month. Why do you think this is, and do you still read magazines? Well, from the last question, digital is becoming more prevalent now, isn't it? So magazines, there's still a hell of a lot of magazines. You go into Smith's or something like that, or even at Sainsbury's, and there's a never-ending list of magazines from Empire to all sorts there to cater all styles and types of magazines.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just that these weren't selling well enough to do that.
To be honest, I think the problem with this type of magazine is the fact that we are much more likely now to go onto YouTube or Twitch or wherever to look at the games and hear people talk about them than we are to buy a magazine. And I think that the internet is killing a lot of this, because when you look at the type of magazines that there are now, they are very, very much towards, most of them, I think, angled towards the sort of older generation than us, who have always bought magazines and continue to buy them because they don't realise they can get the same content from the internet.
Well, yeah, I mean, back in the day, even if you go back to when we had the Sega Mega Drive and the Master System, to see how to complete a level on something, on Sonic or something, you had to get a magazine to show you, didn't you? That's what you had.
Yeah.
And now, as much as some people criticise, well, not criticise, but I picked up the Red Dead Redemption 2 hardback of the walkthrough.
Yeah, the Cheater's Guide.
The Cheater's Guide, that's it. And some people would say, well, you can get all that on the internet. But I do love a good walkthrough book.
Yeah.
And with a game like Red Dead, where it will be prevalent for me to use it once the story is complete and I go down the 100% mission in the game of finding every animal, every herb, and everything else like that. That's where that book comes into its own for me.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I had it open the other night and it smells so nice as a book physically in your hand. It's hard to get around that, but yeah, it's just some things like I will pick up a Fallout 76 walkthrough as such, if there is such a thing. Do you know what I mean? For some of my favourite games.
Yeah.
And you're not one to do that, are you? You don't really go for walkthrough guides?
No, I don't. I much prefer to just play the game rather than read about it and stuff like that and then move on to the next one. I'm more of a wham bam thank you man, I think, in terms of gaming than you are.
Right, okay, do you want to get... we seem to let Nicky have two this time. Do you want to read a second?
Yeah, he's... Nicky's just moved into his own pad, so well done, Nicky, on that one. And he's just had a Hive smart thermostat fitted. Do you have or want any smart home gadgets?
I'm not bothered at the moment, to be honest. I'm being hampered by my company for gas and electric to have one of theirs.
Oh, is that the smart meter?
Mm.
Yeah, but that's not the same as these Hive things, is it?
No, it's just... I suppose it's still a gadget for your home, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what about yourself? Are you interested in fitting some of this?
I was looking at the Hive smart thermostat, but to be honest, I was advised against it by the plumber who installed, everything last year. Yeah. Just said, he didn't think as of yet there were such a good idea. I can see the advantage to, you think, oh, I'm coming home, I will put the heating up so that it's nice and warm when I get in or whatever. But to be honest, I'm normally arriving back in on time and I can just set the thermostat to come on, at the appropriate time when I need it anyway. I've got 4 different timers on my thermostat, so I'm quite happy with that, and that's for each day. But I do have a Ring doorbell, which is, obviously another one of these smart home devices.
Mm. And we've got lights as well.
Yes, we've got our lights that are controlled by a certain Amazon speaker.
I've got to say this right quickly. Did you see that? I don't know where. I think I saw it on Facebook, where there's an advert. Instead of her looking after it, you had Gordon Ramsay and other people.
Yeah.
It's quite funny. Someone's asking for a recipe with that lady, and then Gordon Ramsay comes up and saying, "Why do you need that? It's a cheese. It's only a cheese toastie." It says the idea of how to make it is in the title. But yeah, okay. Adrian Parker, have you ever thought of watching? Sorry, I'll start again. Have you ever thought, after watching a remake of a film or a sequel, and said, well, they should have just left it alone at the one? For example, the latest Predator film, or even Charlie the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp, is two poor examples of remakes.
Yeah.
So any of theirs that you'd like to kept it at one, where they've gone on and on?
Aliens. After 2.
Yeah. I mean, for originals, I mean, I'm not so keen on Predator 2, but Predator's where it goes for me.
Yeah.
The first
they
one.
shouldn't have done a remake of Total Recall.
Oh, God, no. No, absolutely not. And sequels-wise...
Superman Returns.
Yeah. Well, actually, do you know what? I think maybe left Jaws as it was and not anymore.
Yeah, Jaws was a one-off.
Jaws 2 was even more fake. But, yeah. There's loads, isn't there? But that's a good question. I like that one.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to do the next one?
Okay, what is your biggest... Oh, sorry, this is Neil McBain. Sorry, Neil. What is your biggest gaming regret?
I'm going to go back to Mass Effect Andromeda at the moment. I mean, there's a lot can read into this. What's your regret in gaming? Do you have one?
There have been a number of games that I've bought where I thought, what the hell have I bought that for?
You
know, it's just sometimes you just get, you get it in your head, I want to play that game, and you play it and you thought, I knew I wouldn't enjoy this, and I haven't.
Yeah. Have you had that where you may have bought a console off the back of a game?
Yes. Yes, I bought a PlayStation 4 to play The Order.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll leave that one at that. We're done.
Which then took me 3 years to complete when it's a 8-hour game.
Well, we're going to move on to John Strangroom's question. He says, welcome back, boys. What's the worst game you've ever played?
Cuphead. Hey, I didn't say Fallout.
No, you didn't. Well, good man. Do you know what? Mass Effect at the moment is in my brain for some reason as it being a bad game.
It's not. It was bad when it was released, but it wasn't bad by the end.
Yeah. So I'm sticking with that for them now. Anyway. Would you like to do Ian's?
Okay, so Ian Russo, who also provides our music. Thank you, Ian. What do you guys think will be the size of next-gen games? Currently, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a whopping 102 gigabytes.
Yeah, well, I think it's the way forward, isn't it? We want more. We are sometimes moaning we don't get enough. And then when we get these massive open world games, people are moaning it's too big.
Yeah.
Games in the future, we're going to see them on that part. I mean, I think Rockstar are a one-off company for that type of size.
I don't. You look at games now, the trend is bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially with 4K. And that's where the size comes in, is the 4K, because it is so much, so it's 4 times the pixel count.
Yeah. What about in future? We're talking maybe long term when we're not even around, and that K gets upped or tripled. dare be thinking about it, does it really?
Well, there's 8K stuff being put on the market now, which is obviously 4 times what we're at with the 4K ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean...
Don't want to think about it, really, do we?
They'll probably be about 400 gigabytes by then, I would have thought. Because, to be honest, the audio, while it takes a lot of space, the audio doesn't take as much space as the graphics.
No.
So, yeah, I think it's going to be... I don't think that the next gen, if they stick to 4K, which I can't see them going to 8K, to be honest, but I think if they stick to 4K this time, I think that games will probably top out. Maybe some might get to 200, 250 gig by the end of the next generation. But then I think after that it'll be 8K, and then it'll be, even bigger. 400-500 gig.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Totally agree. Okay, all right. So we'll go to the last question for tonight. And Paul Wilson said, "Have you watched the Netflix show The Toys That Made Us? If not, then the first episode about Star Trek is great. Well worth watching."
Yes, I have, and I would just point you back to previous podcasts, to be honest, because I discussed the show.
Actually, we're going to say though, because the Star Trek episode is the beginning of season 2.
Yes. There's a Star Wars episode, which is before that.
Yeah, so there's a complete season 1, which I'm just looking at now. There's only 4 episodes.
Yeah.
You got Star Wars, Barbie, He-Man, and G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Then season 2, you've got Star Trek, Transformers, Lego, and Hello Kitty. So he may have just, unfortunately, just picked it up from that one. I haven't watched the episode now. I'm going to see that. I'm going to probably download that to my phone.
Yeah.
And be able to watch that while I'm at work or something in the lunch break. But yeah, well worth it. Yeah, nice to mention actually, because I haven't watched this in a while, and being a season 2 there with Star Wars and Lego in it.
Yeah, definitely well worth a watch.
Well worth a watch. Okay, so is it 2 weeks we've been away, or is it 3?
2 weeks.
2? It is 2. I thought it was 3, and she said no, it's been 2. So she knows more than I do. So, quick outro then with our contact details. Mine, of course, at Steve07 for Twitter. PSN, I have not changed my name. It's still the real Steve07. Xbox, Steve07. And email me at steve07@popculturegamers.co.uk.
Actually, you mentioned a very good thing. Isn't it a bit of a catastrophe with what they've done with the renaming, where you can lose your game saves and your purchases?
I think it's a ball ache. I don't think people should actually go and change their name. I think unless you really have got Billy Bollock 64, you know that you need to change it.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it's one of those.
I'm sure that they'll plug it. I'm sure that they will, and they'll get it all working absolutely fine. But what we've got to remember is, it is in the beta. It's not the final product, so they will get it sorted before it goes out live. And it's not going live till January, is it? Yeah, so they've got plenty of time to resolve it. But if for those people who have changed it and then suddenly you lost a load of stuff, that must be heartbreaking. Oh God, yeah. But again, this is a beta, and you should expect it. But this is also another reason why I don't like purely digital. But by the point, because we're doing the outros, we're not doing another debate. Yeah, okay. Do you want to do your bits and pieces? Yeah, so you can obviously find my YouTube, just search for Haydn Rhys Jones, Twitter, Xbox, PSN, Steam, I'm HERJUK on all of them. If you want to get in contact with with us, you can go through the Facebook group. You can email inquiries to podcast@popculturegamers.co.uk. Don't forget that we also have our website, popculturegamers.podbean.com, and that's about it. Okay, so as I'm about to pour myself another whiskey, because I'm going to get playing some Red Dead later. Thanks, guys, for downloading and listening. Sorry we've been away for a couple of weeks, but that's just the way it goes. Yep. So all we've got to say now is it's a good night from me. And it's a good night from him. Good night. Good night.
You are about to witness history in the making.